Hello and welcome to Emma's ESL English. Here we are, Thursday, day 3 of punctuation. Today we're going to talk about brackets, or other ways, parentheses. So when we're writing something, we sometimes want to add additional information. And in English, we have 3 main ways of doing that. There are some more, but 3 are the main ones. We can either use commas, or we can use brackets, parentheses, or we can use hyphens or dashes. The 3 are not really particularly different. I would say we use commas when the information is just a quick addition, and we use parentheses or dashes when it's a bit bigger of a piece of information. However, it's a bit difficult to really tell the difference between the 3. Certainly when you're reading, you know you can put the brackets or parentheses in there by using a pause, but it's not a big difference with or without them when you're reading. However, I mean reading aloud, sorry, when you're reading aloud. However, if you're reading not aloud, you're reading an email that somebody sent you, then very often the brackets can give you a lot more information about something. So if that person is trying to tell you something and they've got additional things they wanted to add, very often they'll add those in a bracket. It often depends on the writer. I find I use brackets a lot because I always want to clarify what I'm talking about. I'm not quite sure why that might be. I always feel, especially when I'm writing emails, I always feel uncomfortable that somebody's going to misunderstand me. Emails and text messages, I think, can be really easily misconstrued and misunderstood. So I tend to take more care to fully explain myself so that there's no misunderstanding. And I find very often I'm using brackets to add further information. However, when I read other people's messages and text and emails, they're a lot less likely to use brackets and a lot less likely to explain themselves to the same level that I am. So I do think that this is a bit of a personal preference on my part. So I would say if you don't feel like you have more information to add, or alternatively, it's such a big chunk of information that it just needs its own sentence, then do that. Do that instead. However, I will show you how to use brackets. So today I'm going to read the piece one more time. This time I'm going to put all of the punctuation in and read it how I would read it if I was doing a presentation or something like that. Remember, whenever you're speaking in public, you want to make sure to slow down and take a lot of big breaths. That gives your audience a chance to catch up with what you were saying. It gives them a chance to really think about what you've just told them. Even though it can feel really uncomfortable to you as the speaker, you know, generally in our daily lives, silence is considered something that's very uncomfortable. So it's really hard as a speaker to start using silence to your advantage. It makes a lot of us feel really uncomfortable when there's nothing happening, just a quietness. However, if you look at some really famous speakers, you'll find they really use this to their advantage. One of the most famous, I think, is Barack Obama. Go onto YouTube, find one of his speeches, and take a listen. You'll see that Barack Obama and Nelson Mandela both used pauses really effectively in their speaking. For Barack Obama, sometimes his pauses are super long. And part of you when you're listening is going, how long do we have to wait until this is over? But actually, it really makes you stop and think. You fully process everything that he says, and what he says lands much more heavily, more carefully than other speakers. If you look at another speaker that just rushes on and tells you everything, they don't feel as sincere as Barack Obama does. So for those speakers who can master the pause, it can be super duper effective to you being more trusted by the people who are listening to you, and to your words having more impact. Definitely a skill worth practicing. And you can use punctuation to help you know when you should take those pauses. However, I would suggest if you're having to do a speech, you should mark up your paper. If you're reading a script directly, I would mark that script. I would put gaps in it where you want to take an extra long pause. Don't just rely on the full stops, because if you're speaking in public, you get nervous and it's very easy to miss where you wanted to put a pause and find that you've just rushed on and read the whole thing. So I would use the page and split up the page to really help you read it the way you want to read it. Having said all of that, I didn't do that today. Never mind. Let's see how this goes. Okay, final reading. Are you ready? Epic. This show is gripping. From start to finish, there are new twists and turns. The main bad guy is really super bad and so good at it. And the main lead is spectacular. She is flawed. She has regrets and she is bad. But she is so strong. She gathers skills, knowledge. She gets smarter with each knock she takes. And despite all the people, mostly men, who are trying to put her in her place, use her, mislead her, and frame her, she wins. Surrounding her are a cast of delightful misfits. Enthusiastic first-year law students who are about to get a better education than they ever bargained for. And 3 convicted men who banded together and built a little restaurant empire, despite their rocky start. The male lead has an incredibly engaging background, filled with secrets and mystery, and he is hopelessly devoted to the attorney who believed in him. He trusts her entirely. He trusts himself entirely too, and he believes in them both. His strength, honesty, pure heart, and intelligence cause our female lead to start looking at her life differently, to start wanting to be better. When she gets angry, she gets strong, and she's a delight to watch. You'll start rooting for her, and she won't disappoint. The plot leaves no holes and is tight and clever. As the story builds, the level of corruption escalates, and the games get more dangerous and risky. It's an edge-of-your-seat drama. You'll have trouble putting it down. Don't expect to leave your house until it's done. It's really that good. Enjoy. Okay, I hope that made sense. On the blog today, I will put the final version of this one, and you can see how you did when you guessed what each bit of punctuation was. Good luck! Okay, if you have any questions, you can email me at emmaseslenglish@gmail.com, or alternatively, you can leave your questions underneath the blog. I hope this has been really useful for you. I am sure we will come back to punctuation again. Enjoy your weekend. See you next week. Bye!